All right, we live. What's up, people? This is Scotty with a Black Talk Radio news brief. And when I say brief, we're going to try to keep it brief. I had to bring my partner back, Brother Kwabena Rasuli of Clear the Airways Project. Make sure y'all check out that page on Facebook. But I came across this story that was shared by one of my friends on Facebook about Ti calling out Candance Owens. So let me just give y'all a little heads up. So Ti believes Candance Owens is being paid to speak against people of color. Suggests somebody is paying her to come out against everything we stand for. So it says Ti has been at the forefront of addressing many issues plaguing our community as the nation currently grapples with its horrific past. A few weeks ago, the rapper entrepreneur made headlines after calling for a total blackout day on July the 7th, 2020. All right, so let me jump down to where he is calling out Owens. Now, since the call for a blackout day, T.I. has briefly shifted his attention to the disservice Candace Owens continues to provide the community of color. Um, Owens came to prominence after pulling an about face and swinging from progressive to conservative, eventually becoming a GOP darling and one of the few black voices that's publicly supported them as well. A few days ago, Candace Owens took to Instagram following the massive demonstrations to tear down George, stating he should not be honored because he is not a good person. As expected, the video caused a ton of backlash, and Candace became a trending topic on Twitter. Now, listen, I'm not on here to defend Candace Owens. Her story is a very tragic story. Most people know she was a victim of racial targeting by some white boys when I think she was just 17 years old, and the NAACP represented her and she actually got a settlement. Then she tried some other things, trying to produce justice, but I guess, she wasn't getting enough support in that. And somehow she ended up working for conservatives. I forget the name of the organization that she specifically works for, but she's known now for this Blexit type stuff, telling black people to exit the Democratic Party. But the Republican Party ain't really offering nothing to pull them in policy wise. And so, again, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I don't carry any political parties water. But I had to call up my brother Kwabena to get on here and talk about this hypocrisy from Ti. I see Candance Owens as hustling for some butter biscuits, and certainly Ti has hustled for butter biscuits from the white dominated record industry to produce the type of music that he does that does a disservice to our communities. Let me welcome in Brother Kwabena. Kwabena, I had to call you up, man, so that because you've been working on this issue for years. You brought me really into this movement when I saw you posting on Facebook, and of course, over the years, bringing you on and just trying to get your message out there because it is one to be heard. Public Enemy in their song "Welcome to the Terror Dome," they said it's weak to speak and blame somebody else when you destroy yourself. And, this music is contributing to a lot of self destruction in the community. And rappers know that because the East Coast, West Coast thing, when was that? Back in the 80s, where they were talking about, self destruction was the title of that. But I mean, what do you think about T.I. trying to call out Candace Owens' hustle?
I think it's one of the most ultimate forms of hypocrisy, especially during this time, during the time where we are starting to become righteous and what have you. And then, you want to get on her. But I mean, I think about Brother Cam, who's a rapper out of LA, hip hop artist. And after Nipsey Hussle was murdered, Cam came out and apologized for the content that he had made before, which was really, he didn't really need to because he's a conscious rapper. So you get all these rappers like the T.I.s and others, they're not apologizing for the crap that they put out. There was a song he did before he went to jail with a rapper named Alpha Mega, and Busta Rhymes. Oh, the name of the song. Anyway, they were doing a home invasion, murder in the song. It was a ridiculous song. It was a horrible song. So a week after that, Ti gets busted with the whole cache of weapons, and he just did 1 year in jail. I'm glad the brother had to stay in jail all the time, but 1 year, because again, you know how we feel about these concentration camps, these dungeons. What do you call them, brother Scotty? The prisons,
Prison plantations.
the plantations. Yeah. So we're glad of that, but he gets out in 1 year, and then he still comes out putting out all sorts of music and supporting, and on this hustle gang label, still supporting and putting out rappers and music that is horrible, disrespecting our women totally, and talking about shooting and killing each other. And then here you go, you want to get on Candance Owens, man. I mean, it's like, come on, and people need to wake up, because I get so many people like trying to big up this dude, and he hasn't even apologized. At least try to apologize or something. But I mean, he's still getting all the love. Him and his wife have the TV show, and he's at the Malcolm X tribute. He's addressed on this open letter from the Black Panthers, for some original Black Panthers that came out. With really some good stuff in it. But he's one of the ones addressed on that. But look at your content. What about your content? What about what you're pushing? Candance Owens, what about what you're pushing?
Exactly. So, you shared when I first shared this on my Facebook timeline. You told me to check out the song "We in the City" as Exhibit A. So I'm just going to read some of the most egregious lyrics in that song. And again, this is supported by not only the predominantly white owned radio stations, the killer radio stations, or ratchet radio as some of us call it, but by corporations as well, as you pointed out and demonstrated in front of the McDonald's, the Walmarts, the Targets, all of these corporations who right now trying to act like, they down for Black lives, but they underwrite this music by taking out advertisement on these terrestrial radio stations that the FCC just pretty much leaves unregulated despite the laws that's already on the books, but this violent, vile music. So here's some of the lyrics from "We in the City."
And bro, and as you
Go
yeah,
ahead.
and as you read them, like I said, this song is a song in Chicago. And like Chicago over the last 2 weekends had about 175 people shot. And this song was like hot rotation, constantly being played on GCI and not Power 92.3 when it was out a couple years ago. Constantly.
So I'm gonna go ahead and warn anybody that's watching now or may watch the video later about the language that I'm about to share. So if you got any, children in the room, you might want to tell them to go to another room right now. Or if you're easily offended by this type of music, I mean, easily offended by words, then, but you need to know what's going out over the public airways. But okay, my young hoe, tight dough, riding round, 442, piped up, white truck, Bentley truck, tinted up, rimmed up, in here tucked. All y'all niggas get trimmed up. Me and K10 out of it, milled up, timed up, polo boots. I let the fofo shoot just like the popo do. Dunk on you and your hoe. Switch it over to the left side. Crossover. Give me some more. Answer, bro. Spraying bones. I'ma keep dumping the clip. Pop till my mans come. Laying bones, landmines, Mac 10s, Tech 9s. Y'all niggas gon' respect mine. I'ma have the whole set crying. Had the police like man down. Spraying round. Talk of the town. AK clip. Walking round. Busting the Glock. Busting the K. Nigga trying to get bust in the face. Nigga catch one in the mouth. One in the chest. One in the face. Chain is great. Platinum shit. Killing this rapping shit. And I'm on activist. Excellent. 100 then. All y'all pussy ass niggas just go and ask your bitch. Young Dro. Wow. What really stuck out to me, before we went live was he's talking about he gonna bust some black person just like the popo do. And then this dude being held up as some kind of leader, for black people to fall behind. He is not a leader. And nobody chose him. Nobody elected him except for the powers that be. Because I see him just as much as a tool of racists in the system as Candance Owens. Your thoughts?
Even more dangerous because, like you said, they put him out there like he is some sort of leader, like he's our friend, and that's the sort of crap that him and Young Joe would put out. Now, him and Young, he's on there too. The first verse, I believe, is his, but he's on there with Young Joe. He's supporting that, and even with one of his latest songs, he had a song out with Meek Mill. He's still talking about aiming at your forehead to do something, shooting you in your head on one of his latest songs. So he'll come out and make some videos and some songs about black cops killing white children and doing some things like that. But see, that gets no radio play. That album got no radio play, and so then it goes back to the ratchet ignorance. So no, Ti is a tool. He's a token tool of European domination, and he's dangerous. And the music him and his ilk push out to the masses of our people is dangerous. And we just ask them. We talk about defunding the police, but you can't defund the police when you still got these mainly European-owned ratchet radio stations and media conglomerates telling black folks to hate each other and shoot each other. And he's part of that whole crew that does that.
And like you said, people can change. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, even 30 years ago, maybe even 40 years ago. Obviously, I'm not a child anymore, but I don't hold the same views. I don't do the same things. I grew up in that gang culture in Detroit, but thankfully, my mom pulled me out of that because she had somewhere else to go. And that's when we came back home down south here to North Carolina. So I'm just saying, people, we need to think about these things critically and not just fall behind somebody because they a celebrity and all this and that. And, and then with the blackout thing he was calling for, that's one of the things that the rap music today pushes is materialism, as that even in this song. Yeah, even in this song, go spend your money on guns and rims and I guess, pipes for his ride or whatever, man. It's just ridiculous, man. And right before we close it out, some people have said that people are scared to talk about intracommunal violence. Now, I don't use the term black on black crime because we don't use the term white on white crime or Hispanic on Hispanic crime or Asian on Asian crime. Crime is crime. But so I call it intracommunal violence, right? So some people are saying, well, people scared to talk about this right now with, the protests going on in the street against the police killing us and what have you. But you know what? I'm not scared because I'm not just now talking about it. This is a conversation I've had with Brother Kwabena for how many years now, Brother Kwabena? And so I will talk about something when it needs to be talked about. Kwabena, I'm going to give you the final word on this topic.
Yeah, because I was looking at you go into history on your social media, and I think it was like something from 2011 where we were on Black Talk Radio that we had a rap. So, but it's been a while. But you're right, we didn't just right now start talking about this, and we feel it's part of the same capitalist, racist system that hates black people, whether it's the police killing us or the intercommunal violence. It's part of the same wretched system that's promoted and makes us vulnerable to all of these shootings and killings, and it has to stop. We mentioned, that song, when you just read those lyrics, I've read those lyrics several times, but just listen to it again, it's just, that is ridiculous. And then he's an activist. He claiming he's an activist. Shoot me like the Popo do. He said it himself. He's the rapper Young Joe is saying it himself on the song with T.I. And then you look at what happened in Memphis this past week, where a home was shot up, not once, but twice. And the second time they shot it up, Scotty, they shot an 18-month-old baby and a 70-something-year-old woman in his house in Memphis, just riding through shooting it. It's on video. And this is what we still have to deal with. So, man, T.I., no, do like Cam, bro, and not just say it, do it. Like you said, we can change, make it. We'll see, but we can, I'm at a loss for words, believe it or not, but we got to do something about this. Check out our movement, man. It's Clear the Airways Project. We need some help, man. I haven't talked to you since we had a press conference in Chicago at probably one of the worst radio stations in the country, European-owned conservative Crawford Broadcasting's Power 92.3. We were there, man, and nobody showed up. We sent it to ABC, CBS, all the affiliates, all the newspapers in the Chicago area, and nobody showed up.
Yeah, and they probably, on these stations acting like they support the current movement in the street when they part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? They part of the
Yes.
problem.
Hmm.
So I just want to thank everyone, and please continue to support the production of independent media. The Black Talk Radio Network is managed by the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. You can go to blacktalkradionetwork.com and make a tax deductible donation today. And again, please support the work of Clear the Airways Project and my brother here, Kwabena Rasuli. Peace to you, brother, and you stay safe behind these enemy lines.
You too, brother. Right on. Appreciate you.